Welcome in to Taking Sides. I'm your host, Al Walsh. Find me on Twitter there at 14a.walsh. Joined alongside by Pauly Parlays. Find him on Twitter there at Game Day Facts. And also joined by Anthony Cervino this evening. Find him at The Real NFL Guru there on Twitter. Also, don't forget to follow the show at Taking_Sides. We don't really do a whole lot on there, but just get that follower count up on there. Gentlemen, welcome into the show. We have knocked down 6 NFL playoff games. We have 4 this week. Going to be a great one. Paulie and I coming back from the AC weekend that was tomahawk steak and shit up. Little blackjack with our friends from over there in Asia. We had a lot of roulette going on. Just a good weekend in general. Wet Willies. I feel like we should be sponsored by them with how many concoctions I had there from the establishment there. So
if we could get up to a couple thousand followers, I'm sure we could ask them.
Yeah, perhaps. But yeah, I had a pretty decent week there. 3-2 with the games. Made a small profit. Did not touch the Buccaneers Cowboys game, thank God, or else I would have been crying even more than I was. By the way, Anthony, I'm glad that we did not make a bet on that game because that probably would have meant that I would have had to award some sort of cowboy memorabilia. But we'll get into it a little later. I might be rocking a star this weekend.
I distinctly remember a wager being made, which included you wearing something Cowboys. I think you're just trying to back out of it.
I got Cowboys colors with my Tampa Bay Lightning hoodie on today. So
those are Giants colors.
That's good enough. Paulie, how'd you do with bets over the weekend? I should know this, but I don't remember.
I did amazing. It was my best week of the NFL season.
Good to hear.
Which is it's a wonderful time. It's to knowing that the last quarter of the season for me, I had 2 back-to-back weeks that were horrible. And that since then, I'm just gradually the account's going up. And then last week was the best week I've had the entire season. I had the Giants, I had the Cowboys, I had the Jaguars. So those are 3. I hit a 5-team parlay with those 3 Bills and Bengals money line. So all that, and come on, it couldn't be a bad weekend.
While Paulie and I were tomahawking it up, I did a small $10 wager there on the Jaguars live when they were down 27-7. So
wow,
confirmed.
Yeah, made a little money back.
What was it? What were the odds?
So plus 1,400, and then so when you
pulled it up, it was plus 1,800.
Yeah, and then I guess the kickoff when they were down 27-0 went close to midfield, so then the odds came crashing down. But at one point, it did get to 28-1. I just I didn't get it at that point. And by the way, I thank you very much for having me on your show Friday night. Ant and I broke down the playoffs. Had a couple good calls, had some bad ones in there. Most regrettably, the one where we declined to talk about the Bills-Dolphins game at Grant Lake. Then what a game that turned out to be. But how'd your overall weekend go?
My best bets, I do an article for the Game Day still, and they went 5-1. This year overall has been probably it was my worst year betting wise in terms of like totals, money lines, and point spreads. I'm very much a props guy, but I bounced back in a much needed way this weekend.
Yeah, very good. I just before we went on the air Friday night, I forgot I haven't updated my season record, but I've only been betting on DraftKings, so I was trying to throw those numbers in. I'll probably have them ready to go next week, but definitely in the green this season, which is always good to have. Yeah, I mean, Paulie and I rocking out during the Giants game, had the G-men, little spread, little money line action going that day, so that was fun. Watching it down there at the downstairs Chicky and Pete's bar there at the Trop in AC. Nice little hidden seclusion over there. But
but we also breaking news. Downstairs Chicky and Pete's is closing. We're not supposed to know this, but we do.
we got the inside scoop. You stay there long enough, you have enough conversations, and you get all that inside information you need to. All right, without further ado, let's get into the 4 games that we got going on this weekend. This is the last weekend that we will have at least 4 games on the slate. Next week, we'll be down to 2 games, so should be quite the page turner on that one there. But let's start it off today. And by the way, you'll notice new graphics as we're talking about these games. We're going to have them up there. It only took me until the playoffs to figure it out, folks. But
wow.
To start off, yeah, look at that, right? To start off the playoff weekend, we got the Jaguars at the Chiefs. Chiefs 8.5-point favorites here with the total sitting at 52.5. If you're looking at the money line here, a lot of people on the Chiefs here this week. Money line number there at minus 435, while the Jags there, if you got the balls to do it, plus 375. About 92% of the bets and the money are on the Chiefs money line here in this one. However, when we're looking in terms of the bets here, a lot of people still thinking that the Jags can rattle off something spectacular. While the bets are barely at 50-50, Chiefs taking them in 53% favoritism. 83% of the money right now is on the Jaguars spread in this one at plus 8.5. Let's start it off with Pauly Parlays this week. What are you looking at here on this one?
So, as you know, I do have a Chiefs Super Bowl future, which kind of puts me in a weird spot here because I think logically what I should do is just take the Jags money line to cover some version of my original Chiefs bet, but I like the Chiefs minus the points. So you guys sort of tell me what I should – if I'm just betting the game – and I don't have the Chiefs future, I take the Chiefs minus 8.5. But I do have the future, so that puts me in a tricky spot here.
Ant, you want to take that?
So what is the question?
So I have a Chiefs Super Bowl future.
Right.
That'll net me like $1,000.
Okay.
So my thought is take Jags money line plus 350, whatever it is. If that loses, great. My Chiefs bet is still alive. But if you're asking me which side I like in the game, I like the Chiefs minus 8.5.
Yeah, I mean, but then what if the Jags don't win, your Chiefs bet's still alive, but then they get bounced in the championship round?
So, which we'll move on to, I also have a Bills future, and I think the Bills win that game.
Okay.
So then I'm perfect.
Okay.
If the final 4 are the 1 and 2 seeds on both sides, I have all 4 teams, so I can't lose. But the chances of all 4, we never get chalk. It doesn't happen.
No.
So it's figuring out which one is wrong.
I like Jacksonville to cover. I like Kansas City to win.
Fair.
And the reason, you can look at all the stats in the world, but there are 2 stats that I look at the most. That's sacks and sacks allowed, and there's turnovers and giveaways and takeaways. The Chiefs, shockingly, they have given the ball away 23 times. That's bottom 10. Jacksonville has taken away the ball 26 times. That's top 5. That's what's going to keep Jacksonville in this game. That's how they're going to cover. I don't see them winning. But if you give this offense and Trevor Lawrence, with the confidence he has, the way he's been playing football, more opportunities, there's going to be a backdoor cover here. I think an underrated storyline is the connection of Andy Reid and Doug Peterson. They know each other. And when you see coaches that know each other well, these games are usually pretty close.
I like that point. I like that point a lot there with the coaching. Something that Anthony and I talked a lot about on Friday was the totals, and really haven't been a huge total guy this season. But my favorite play from this game is actually the under 52.5. I know Pauly usually in our group chat, he'll write out his favorite plays, and we kind of, we know what we're going to be debating and whatnot. Although Paulie had this one at Kansas City 31-20, so just under the thing. But I do like that factor there with the two coaches knowing each other. I think that lends itself to some optimism there on the under. Let's not forget, right? These two teams just played each other, I want to say maybe like 2 months ago. I meant to bring up the guy's name. Safety on Jacksonville, I believe, number 5. Just absolutely wrecked a couple of those Chiefs receivers in that game. You got to be wondering if these guys remember, if they remember that regular season meeting. I legit thought that he killed.
Of course they remember it.
Two of those guys. No, but I mean, some of those hits were just absolutely devastating, right? So a little bit of a factor. I'm sure a crazy son of a bitch like Travis Kelce is going over the middle no matter what. But, you take a look at those guys, whether we're talking about Smith-Schuster, Tony, any of those other guys. I mean, they got to remember some of the thumps that guy was laying. I'm going to get his name up here. I know that we don't talk. We don't talk about Jaguars safeties at great length.
It was week 10, right before the Jaguars bye, when they essentially turned into a different team.
Okay.
But also, so something I didn't realize until I was putting up an article about this game is this was the game that Harrison Butker got hurt. So the Chiefs couldn't kick extra points or anything.
Interesting.
And I only know that because I saw pictures of him getting carried off the field. And I was like, oh, I totally forgot about that. Not that it really affected anything. The final score was 27-17. The Chiefs got up early and just kind of were like, okay, we won. Cool.
If the Bucs didn't totally get their asses kicked on Monday night, I'd have a great joke about extra points, but
Yeah, that's not going to work.
Isn't that insane?
Andre Sisco, by the way.
Yes.
The safety from Jacksonville.
The singer of the thong song is the safety? That's amazing.
I don't remember if I was talking about it the other day. I forget where, but we were talking about my favorite karaoke songs, and the thong song is up there.
Really?
Interesting.
Oh, it gets the people going, man. It's not all about, great songs, right? It's about also, too, what can you do to get the bar hopping and jumping? And that's the one that does it.
Now, back in this game, by the way, we're talking about when these two teams first played each other. Here's where the takeaway comes into play. The spread push in that game. Kansas City gave the ball away 3 times, 2 fumbles, 1 interception.
Okay.
So Jacksonville didn't cover, but this was also the Jacksonville Jaguars team before they really got hot. And they won 6 straight games and 7 out of their past 8.
Yeah, and you and I were talking on Friday night about prop bets for that Jaguars-Chargers game. I said I really love the over in that game, which also hit. I got that. Kind of an opportune defense are the Jaguars. That's how they roll. So maybe Patrick Mahomes, maybe feeling a little loosey-goosey off the bye week. I could very well see that. We're going to have to take a look at the numbers there and see what that would be as a prop bet, but that's definitely something I'm willing to take a look at. As the prop master, Anthony, anything specific you like in this one?
Anything specific I like here? I'd have to. I'm not prepared with props for this one. But
you're out. Get out of here.
Just let me pull up let me pull up FanDuel. Let's see what I like in this game. Just at first glance.
Anthony, while you're looking, can I ask you guys? I'll ask a general question. So give you a chance to look, because you guys know I pick sides. I'm not very big on over-unders, but my process when I do pick an over-under, I just come up with a final score, and then I look at the total. Do you guys do that as well, or am I just like a mad scientist?
I don't know if I'd call you a mad scientist or a mad something, but I don't know. I'd go that direction. No, I honestly, you know me. I look at the markets before I look at anything, see kind of where everything's going. If something looks a little funky, I mean, the best advice I've ever been getting, or I'm sorry, the best advice I've ever gotten for sports betting, if it looks too good to be true, it usually is. So I typically just look at, the whole board and see what doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And then I kind of go from there.
You find the discrepancies, really.
Exactly.
Best advice
Beautiful
I've
word.
ever gotten
Beautiful.
about sports betting is don't do it.
A little late for that.
Agreed.
Yeah. You've only got a
We're
profession
past
at
that
it.
now, guys.
Yeah. You only work in the industry.
So, Anthony, did that give you enough time to find us some prop bets?
Yeah, with prop bets
Nice.
in this game, I'm going to look at Travis Kelce. And, Kelsey's as great as he is, he has these hot and cold streaks with touchdowns, but he did score earlier this year against Jacksonville. So did Noah Gray, who is, I believe, the number 2 tight end on the depth chart. So 2 tight end touchdowns, scored against Jacksonville. They're kind of weak against the tight end. Their pass defense is overall bad. So what I would do here, Kelsey's anytime touchdown score prop is a little bit juiced. It's at -145. You could parlay that with the Chiefs money line and lower the odds a little bit. That gets it down to a +101. And that's a bet I would make. KC and Kansas City's money line.
Taking a look at the defensive touchdown props in this one, Kansas City, they're a +400, Jags +550. So
here's another interesting one. At FanDuel, there's method of touchdown scored or method of first touchdown, to where you can get, like, if you want to bet on Jerick McKinnon, receiving touchdown, rushing touchdown. He's been hot as a receiver out of the backfield. You might want to take him with a receiving touchdown at +235.
While you're in there, Anthony, can you give me the yardage for Juju, MVS, and Tony? Because I'm having such a tough time. I have like a weekly fantasy thing where it's 4 teams and the top 2 advance. And I'm like, I can't figure out after Kelce who's the next receiver.
It's Juju at 56.5, MVS 30.5, and Tony 31.5. Really, like, Juju is the primary receiver on this team.
Agreed.
And then you'll have games where, okay, it might be a Tony game. It might be an MVS game. Could be a McCole Hardman game if he's playing.
He's back, right?
I believe so, but I don't see a prop line for him yet.
I think I saw an injury report said out with the pelvis.
So the last time these teams played, like, I'm just going to read you down the box score. It almost makes no sense, but it does, because Mahomes just hit whoever's open. Where you have 6 for 81 and a touchdown for Kelce, 3 for 60 and a touchdown for MVS, 4 for 57 and a touchdown for Tony, 6 for 56 for McKinnon, 2 for 33 for Juju, and you said Noah Gray, 2 for 20 and a touchdown.
Yeah.
That's literally just Mahomes saying, who's open? Gotcha.
How the times have changed with the last time these two faced each other. Jerick McKinnon, 1 carry.
Right, but that was really also when they were like, oh, wow, we're just going to throw to you.
Well, the Chiefs did the same thing with McKinnon last year, where he was essentially their lead back in the playoffs. And they kind of went with them late down the stretch this year. So,
and Clyde Edwards-Helaire might be back as well.
No,
I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, honestly.
Right, that's what I can't figure out. But he was activated from IR, meaning that they have until the Super Bowl now to decide what week they want to activate him, if at all.
If at all.
Jinx.
Yeah. All right. Since we've only got 4 games, let's do, to end each game, let's do a final score prediction. We already know what Pauly's is.
31-20 Chiefs.
He likes 31-20 Chiefs. Ant, what do you like here?
I will go, let's see. I will go, one of the first. The first one was 27-17. I like Jacksonville to cover, so I might go. I might go like 27-24, 27-21, 27-21. I think it's going to be that close.
Damn, almost me. I was going to go 27-20 Chiefs.
Well, you just did. Good job.
That's right. Well, no,
you guys have the Jags covering. I don't. But we're all in the exact same range.
I mean, it's called taking sides for a reason, Pauline. It's not hop on one side and hump the living shit out of it, you know?
It's not called jump on the bus?
All right, let's get our graphics going because we got the next game. It's Saturday night.
Beautiful job.
We got Pauly's New York Giants heading into the city of brotherly love to face the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles 7.5-point favorites in this one. Total, the best you could do out there is 47.5. If you like the over, if you like the under, best you're going to do out there is 48.5. We'll just call it 48.5 right now because that's what I had. In terms of the money line, interesting to see the New York Giants there at plus 300, while the Philadelphia Eagles are there at minus 350. Pauly, I gotta start with you again since you're a Giants fan. Anthony, you could start out the Sunday games, but what are you feeling here? Because I'm feeling a little big blue here, Pauly.
You were with me watching the Giants-Vikings game.
Yeah.
I had a lot of money on the Giants, and thankfully they pulled it out. But I'm going to turn my hat back around.
Oh, no.
Because I am big on the Eagles this week. I think that the only reason the Giants did what they did last week is because they were playing a Vikings team that was not very good. We talked about that all season, that they were the luckiest 12 and 14, 13 and 4. They were whatever. They were so lucky to get to
14 and 3 seed.
14 and 3, sorry. They were 11-0 in one-score games. All these stats where it was just the Vikings are what they are. They weren't very good. The Giants took advantage of that. The Giants played a perfect game. Dayball's great. But I think that the Eagles, as long as Jalen Hurts is healthy, and he has not been on the injury report this week, the Eagles should be the team that they were when they were 13, 14-0 before he got hurt. Heading into that Washington game that they lost. That's what they're going to turn back into. So I like the Eagles minus 7.5. I like the under because I think a third time playing in your division, you're going to have less points. It's tough to say that, but we can't overrate the Giants just because they beat a team that everyone's been talking shit about all season. And all I hear on New York Sports Talk Radio is that they have a chance to win this game now. But one game doesn't change my opinion. The Giants have had an amazing season. Win or lose, we're playing with house money this weekend. I just think the Eagles are the better team as long as Hurts is out there and healthy.
Ant, what say you?
Yeah, of course the Giants have a chance. It's the NFL, it's football. Every team has a chance to win on any given day. But like you, Paul, I like a lot. I like all underdogs this week to cover outside of the New York Giants. Philadelphia is a much better defense than Minnesota. I think Minnesota just fired their defensive coordinator today. It's that bad in Minnesota where Daniel Jones, I think he threw for 300 yards on the Vikings in both times they played this year. I'm not ready to anoint Daniel Jones. I think he's going to be a nice starting quarterback under Brian Dable. They're going to get him some weapons, but I can't. People are trying to anoint him. You got to pay. You're not paying him anything. You're going to give him a deal that he's worth, kind of a prove it deal, and keep him, and then build the team around him and see what happens. He's going to go to Philly. This Philly defense, there's some wear and tear. Like down the stretch, they got beat up a little bit, but this is still a much better defense than Minnesota. The third, they're 8th in scoring, 2nd in yards, total yards allowed, number 1 in passing yards allowed. This is a Giants team. They're number 1 receiver. And I like Isaiah Hodgins. I think he's going to be a nice receiver, a nice 2 or 3. He's their number 1. He's going to go up against Darius Slay. Are you kidding? Like, this is going to be a complete mismatch. And Philadelphia should win this game by double digits. I just don't see any way the Giants cover the spread. I just don't see it.
Man, I gotta be the one guy for the home team here. I think, listen, last week it was the week of Daniel Jones. I feel like he did literally, I mean, not that I feel like he did literally everything for the Giants last week. They barely even let Saquon get the ball in that one. But Ant and I talked about it on Friday. Minnesota did a pretty good job against Barkley in, what was the week 16, whatever, the Christmas Day matchup there against Minnesota. Eventually, Barkley did have that long run for the touchdown to eventually tie the game up. But I feel like this could be a Saquon Barkley week, right? They kind of kept the Corvette in the garage, not to bring politics into this or anything, but this is a week where you got to unleash your guy. And I feel like I do like that play on the total going under. I feel like 48.5 is a lot, or whatever. We're sitting at 48. But I do think that the Giants kind of slow things down here against this Eagles team this week. Get Saquon Barkley running the ball. Pauly and I were cracking our asses up the other day. All those fancy trick run plays, all the shit behind the back, everything went to the other
Matt Breida.
Yeah, to Matt Breida.
It was so funny. Like every time Daniel Jones did something cool, it was like, oh, Saquon's over there behind the back.
Yeah, like can I get a behind the back carry to Saquon Barkley there? But no, I mean, listen, I think the spread here kind of indicates that this will be sort of a slower, choppier kind of football game. Again, the two teams playing each other for the third time, and we talked about this on Friday, right? I think that the Giants might have, I don't want to say the advantage in coaching here, but just seeing what they did in that Week 18 game there against Philly, at Philly, right? Like essentially the Giants JV squad going up against the Eagles who, were playing for the 1 seed there. I understand that they didn't open up the playbook as much as they very well could have, but I do think that Dable and the boys will be fully prepared for this. And they got a little momentum while the Eagles were just sitting back at home last week.
Yeah, I don't see it. I mean, I get it. But this is just a complete mismatch. Philly won 3 straight games against the New York Giants. The over is 2-1 in those games, but I do see this game going under in Philly. I think that's the totals I'm a little bit off on in the playoffs, just because you don't know what or who's going to show up sometimes. In playoff games, I feel like are normally lower scoring. So if I would go anywhere, it's probably the under here. But I think Philly should come out strong, and I think they need to come out strong because you don't want to be Philly and just get by this game, and then show you want to show the rest of the NFC or the rest of the NFL, hey, like we're still that team that you thought was the best team in the NFL 6 weeks ago, because you don't want to end up having to play maybe Dallas in the championship game. Be like, oh, we're going to steamroll you. Because Dak's or Jalen Hurts never beat Dak. Like, you don't want to put that doubt in San Francisco or Dallas's head. But like, no, they're still that dominant team. You don't want to make it look like, oh, well, if the Giants can keep it close, we're going to steamroll you. So I think Philly has to smash this weekend.
Looking at the betting markets, I usually bring this up at the front. I did not this week. Pretty even. Giants getting 58% of the bets, 52% of the money there on the spread there at 7.5. However, looking at the money line, you got about 50-50 right there. Giants slightly ahead at 51%, but 73% of the money coming in on the Giants money line there at plus 300. In terms of looking at the total, I know that it dropped down to a couple books there at 47.5. But we are seeing about 75% of the bets and the money on the over in this one. For there. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, for a prop.
That's just where I was going.
Boston Scott to score a touchdown against the Giants. It's the lock, right? It's the lock of locks. Boston Scott has scored a touchdown in every single game he's ever played. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 games played against the Giants. He scored in every single one.
So hold on. I think I heard the stat the other day. So I think maybe that's 10 touchdowns there for Boston Scott. But yeah, so I think it's 10 of his something like 16 career touchdowns are against the Giants.
It's plus 340 odds.
If you guys want him to not score a touchdown, I'll take his anytime touchdown prop because I never win them.
I mean, how can you not?
It'll automatically go to Miles Sanders then, so it'll be great.
How can you not sprinkle?
What's Miles Sanders to score 2 touchdowns? Because I like that.
Really?
Yeah, I think they're just going to feed him.
I don't.
Plus
I think it's going to be. It's plus. Hurts to score 2 is 440. That's probably where I'm going.
Woo. On DraftKings, it's plus 550.
You're saying Hurts has to run into?
Yeah, why not? I think he's done it it feels like he's done it every game.
Yeah, and they've been resting him. Yeah, it makes sense.
Fair enough. All right. Any other points you want to hit on?
A Hurts to score 2 and Boston Scott to score 1 parlay is 3,076 odds.
30-1. That's amazing.
All right.
You don't want our final score predictions?
That's just where I was going, Paulie. I didn't forget. Let's put them up, gentlemen. What do we got here? How about I'll start.
You go.
I'll start it out. Going Giants 23-20 outright.
Wow.
What?
Yeah. They feel.
I got the Eagles with the cover and the under 24-13.
Okay.
What's the total here?
48.
Yeah, we'll call it 48.
I will go Philadelphia. I will go 30-17. Just go under.
All right. Group it up, boys. I hope the Giants do this.
Listen, 2 out of the past 3 games when Philly was healthy, completely 48-22, 34-10.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Just don't like the direction that they're trending in, but that's
they're not trending in anything.
Oh, zip it.
That's just like the directions the Cowboys, everybody's talking about against Washington. They didn't care about that game.
Right.
Listen, if I wasn't a Buccaneers fan, I would have been on the Cowboys, but I had no choice.
Stop rating teams in meaningless games and games against trash.
Well, I told
people say, well, the Cowboys could have advanced. Listen, when the Cowboys pop, they look at the spread like we do. Okay, well, for us to move up out of the 5th seed, okay, the 49ers are playing the Cardinals. They're favored by 14. That's probably not going to happen. The Eagles are favored by 14 against the Giants. That's not going to happen either. Why would they care about that Washington game? Like they were trailing the whole, and if you look at if you actually go back and watch that game, they were trailing. Tony Pollard didn't get a single target. Their offense was so vanilla. They weren't trying to show their hand to Tampa Bay. That's my take on that Washington game.
No, absolutely. We talked about that. I said, Friday shouldn't take too much from that game, but
people, national media loves to bury the Cowboys for that game.
Oh, fuck the national media. I knew it was over when I saw Stephen A. Smith wearing a goddamn Tom Brady jersey and a Bucs hat backwards. I knew it was over once I saw that. Brutal. All right, we're moving on to Sunday here with the beautiful graphic below. We got the Cincinnati Bengals at the Buffalo Bills. Bills favored by 5.5 in this one. Money lines, Bills minus 240, Bengals plus 215. Total, best you could do for over 48.5. Best you can do for the under 49.5. A lot of money trending in the direction of the over in this one, as are the bets. About 70% of the bets on the over, 90% of the money on the over as well. Looking in terms of the spreads and the money lines, 70% of the bets on the Bengals in this one, while you got 60% of the money on the Bills. Sort of similar situation, 55% of the bets on the Bengals money line, while you got 57% of the money on the Bills money line. All right, Ant, we started out with Paulie on the first 2. You're our Sunday guy. Who you like in this one?
Sunday sauce.
That's right.
I don't understand why Cincy is getting 5, 5.5, 4.5. To me, this game's probably a pick'em. I get you want to give them the 3 points for the home field. Fine. Let's put it there. I just don't think that these teams are that far apart. And again, like I talked about with Jacksonville, Kansas City, the giveaway takeaway ratios, this is glaring. And this has been my thing picking against the Bills with the point spread all season long. There's a reason why they finish 8-8-1 against the spread. Buffalo, as good as Josh Allen is, and people want to anoint him, he is nowhere close to Patrick Mahomes or Joe Burrow. He's a stats guy until he proves me otherwise. The reason why Miami was in that game, and obviously McDaniel is a brilliant play caller. It wasn't Mike McDaniel. It was because Josh Allen turned the ball over 3 times, and he almost turned it over 2 additional times because he had 3 total fumbles, 1 loss, along with those 2 interceptions. Buffalo Bills, third most takeaways with or giveaways with 27. Cincy's defense, the 9th most takeaways with 24. This isn't Skylar Thompson. If you give Joe Burrow the ball 3 more times than he should have it, he's beating you. And that's what I'm hanging my hat on. And I think Nick Wright said it on his show during the week. Josh Allen cannot help himself with making these mistakes. He wants to make these incredible plays. Sometimes they work. Sometimes, especially this season, they do not work, and it ends up in the other team's hands. And that's how I see this ball game going. I think Cincinnati's the better team and the more complete team and the more disciplined team with the disciplined quarterback.
Pauly, what say you?
I like a lot of points in this one.
Okay.
Lots and lots of points. So this is the only game all weekend that I like the over on. You don't even want to hear my final score, but I'll give it at the end. But I like all of the favorites this weekend, and it makes no sense to me. The thing here, if this was week 17 before week 18, week 17, before the whole Damar Hamlin incident occurred, and this was the line, I'd take the Bengals. But they're playing with 3 replacement level offensive linemen.
They did last year.
Okay, but it's different. It just happened. It's not. I get what you're saying, 100%. I just think the Bills are the healthier, better team at home. My final score here is 38-31. So it's not like I don't think both teams are going to score. I just think the Bills score more. I also don't think that the Cincy defense is as good as they were last season. They almost lost. They should have lost to the Ravens, who suck.
But they played each other 3 times. We know how that works.
The Ravens are not a good football team. Their starting quarterback was Tyler Huntley. Like, come on, man.
Okay, and Skylar Thompson almost beat your Bills.
They're not my Bills.
Okay, but if you're using that narrative against Baltimore, if you're using that narrative, then I'm going to use the Miami narrative. What the hell's the difference? That's fair.
It's totally fair. I'm telling you it's fair. I still think the Bills win and cover a lot. Look, also, you got to the narrative. The NFL loves the narrative. You don't think that something's going to happen where the Bills magically win the game and Damar Hamlin's like there on the field?
Oh God!
I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
I am.
Is that the right word? What word did I just use?
Conspiracy theory.
I screwed up. I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
Something about spitting.
However, it wouldn't surprise me if the Bills win the Super Bowl by 3 points.
Ooh.
Oh, he's going there, folks.
Because that is Damar Hamlin's number.
But, this is the same New England team or a Bills team. If it wasn't for Nyheim Hines' 2 kickoff returns, New England might be in the playoffs.
And, that wasn't scripted.
All right.
Yes, they went to Nyheim Hines before the game and said, you know what, son? Today's going to be the best return day of your life.
All right, so I said 38-31. Here's what's going to happen. Whoever the safety is that replaces Damar Hamlin at 31 all with about 3 minutes left is going to pick 6 to win the game. Whoever his replacement is. I don't know who it is. Whoever the Bills safety is, pick 6 game winner.
By the way, we were just talking about the Bengals should have lost that game last week. That crappy jigsaw play, the fumble that happened down there at the end. As somebody who's holding a Ravens plus 11.5, I was just looking up to the sky like, Jesus, why would you do this to me? Right? We're right there at the 1 yard line, going to be very comfortable taking this one into the end of the game. No, did not work out that way. But it,
you still covered.
I know. They just made me sweat a little. I didn't even have to buy all those points.
So you bring up this Fugazi safety for the Bills. Did you know that DeMar Hamlin was not their starter? Their starter was actually Micah Hyde. Then DeMar Hamlin, he goes down. So now the Bills are onto their third free safety, Dean Marlowe, they got from the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons.
Love Dean Marlowe. Great guy.
So you don't think that maybe Jamar Chase is going to get loose deep a couple times in this game?
I'm a huge Dean Martin
You talk
fan.
about the offensive line.
Great singer.
You talk about the offensive line. There's no Von Miller on the side of the Buffalo Bills. That's a big-time pass rusher now.
Sure is. One thing that we have not mentioned is the weather for this game. About a 60% chance of snow showers right around kickoff. Don't necessarily.
Does it matter?
Know what that's going to do. I will say this, right? If that makes Cincinnati more of a run team, definitely like Buffalo in this game. Then,
does it
right?
matter?
Because
Cincinnati's cold. Cincinnati gets snow. We're not talking about, I don't know.
I get this,
Jacksonville.
But Buffalo is Mr. Snow. They are the Iceman. They are Mr. Freeze.
Guys, the Bills are winning the game because that's what Roger Goodell wants.
I didn't even get a chance to get my input in here yet, but
we'll go ahead. Wait, Al. What say you?
What say you? I actually, we talked about it at the beginning of the show. If it looks too good to be true, it usually is. And the fact that the Bills are 5.5-point favorites here against the Bengals when they just showed that they are not, or that they had that game neck and neck there with the Dolphins. When that game was over on Sunday, I said, I don't care what the spread is. I'm taking the Bills against whoever they're playing in their next game. That's just the way it looked, right? It looked like Buffalo kind of mailed that in. Obviously, they get the early lead, but it did look like they absolutely mailed it in, right? We were talking all kinds of shit on Skylar Thompson on Friday. I even told Anthony, I said, you might be the first guy to get his name correct. And he goes, That's not a hard name to pronounce. I go, no, just his name in general. I don't even think anybody knows who he is. But he came out there. He showed out big in Buffalo. Good for him. But, you could also look at it in the sense of, all right, maybe that wakes Buffalo up a little bit. Now they don't think that they're so invincible with their great storyline and narrative and everything. I think just in terms of the way that the spread looks, I kind of lean in the way that Pauly was thinking, in that a lot of points, we just won't see a lot of field goals, where I don't think that the 5.5 is going to matter here. I think that this is going to come down to touchdowns in this one. So give me the Bills at home. It's probably going to be something in that range that Pauly was saying, like that 38-31. I don't want to jack his score on that one, so I'll go 35.
Let's do it. Let's bet it together.
I'll go 35.
Score.
35-28. We'll put two bets in, one on 35-28 and one on 38-31.
I think, dude, exact score 38-31. Love it. Also, a fun off-season game we can play is name the quarterback first name. Ready? Cousins first name.
Kirk.
Right. People always say Kurt.
Right.
Kirk.
Because they're fucking stupid.
What is the Dolphins' third string quarterback Thompson first name?
Skyler.
Heineke on the Commanders.
Taylor.
Huntley on the Ravens.
Tyler.
See, that one's tricky because I did them back to back.
You had this plan. You had this script.
No, I just came up with it while you were talking about it.
Bullshit. You're not that creative.
You think I came up with that?
Yes.
No, it just happened. Because I was like, I always mix up if Huntley is Tyler or Taylor.
And I think I heard him mumbling that shit in the car on the way home on Monday. All right, what do you have as your final score for Bengals Bills?
I'm picking Cincinnati to win. It's just a matter of what do I have as the final score? This game, let's see, those games go over, and you got okay. So I like the over here. This is tough. I would probably go Cincinnati. I'll go 30-27 Cincinnati.
All right. A lot of points there as well. Maybe even a couple missed extra points with that one.
No,
I
we
don't
had
see- I
enough
don't-
of these extra points last week.
I don't see a lot of field goals in this one. I think this is going to be a good back and forth game. Just makes sense.
So speaking of that, the like weekly fantasy league that I do, the guy I'm sharing the team with thinks that Bass is the number one kicker this week. And I was like, no, like it's just no. Like let someone else take him.
It's gonna be Brett Maher.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Just for
redemption,
comedic undertones.
No, if you actually look at Brett Maher's resume this year, like he's been so reliable, especially kicking from deep.
Give me Butker, give me Gould, give me Elliott.
Zeke.
No, Jake.
I know.
That's fun. Kickers' first names. Is that easy or hard?
I'm pretty good with player names.
Blankenship.
Will.
Rodrigo. Come on.
Rodrigo.
That wasn't even close.
Will Blankenship.
Who's that?
What about Tom Tupa? Let's go back 1990. James Jett or John Jett. James Jett was a receiver. John Jett was the punter. Actually, Tom Tupa was a punter and the emergency quarterback when he played.
Yeah, he was the holder. He was the holder.
Reggie Roby.
Oh my God!
Gold watch.
Reggie Roby.
He recorded his own hang time before it became a stat. That's why he wore the watch.
Interesting. Reggie Roby actually has family in Bayonne, New Jersey.
Wait, Anthony, are you? Oh no, it's John Helmkamp is friends with the old Raiders punter.
Yes. Yeah.
What's his name? I'm blacking out.
Marquette King. Marquette King.
Yes.
Marquez? Is it Marquette?
Marquette King. Like they're like legit friends. Like they go out drinking together.
What if he went to Marquette and he was just like the Marquette King, you know? By the way,
gotten a great nil deal.
Since the debate has been hot and heavy tonight, forgot to mention, got to shout out our boy William Stevenson tuning into the show, commenting in here. He says,
it's one of my best listeners.
Definitely dropping something on that Boston Scott.
Oh, Anthony, he's
the Hurts
boy.
Hurts thing.
Yeah, he's one of our best guys at the FF Face-Off. Whatever.
Do you want me to sing him a song?
Oh no, we want to bring viewers in, not drive.
Well, his name's William, so I was going to sing the Billy Madison song, where Pete Sampras his wife, Billy, sweet Billy boy.
Yo, I forgot that Mrs. Veronica Vaughn, that sweet piece of ace, was Pete Sampras' wife.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
She stopped acting because they were good.
When I was playing,
she was in I Know What You Did Last Summer, right? Too?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, she got
really.
Killed. Yeah,
she got killed. Everyone got killed in that movie.
Not everyone.
Drew Barrymore got killed. Sarah Michelle Gellar got killed.
Drew Barrymore wasn't in that movie.
Drew Barrymore is
the first person that dies. Oh no, that's Scream. I just mixed it up.
This guy sucks.
Sorry.
This guy sucks.
This guy sucks.
When I was playing ping, I had to bring this back to Pete Sampras, but when I was playing ping pong at work the other day, I had a nice shot, a nice backhander right down the line, and just under I go, Al Sampras.
Nice. Where's our ping pong table, Paul?
What?
Where's our ping pong table at work?
It's right here. All you got to do is come visit. My home office has a ping pong table in it.
I do like a little ping pong stimulates the mind. Like as writers, I feel like we usually get in that log jam.
Well, Al, when you and I worked in that sweatshop, we weren't allowed to leave the office to get food or anything. So our break was, hey, you want to play ping pong?
Well, no, we had to bring it back. And then when
lunch breaks didn't exist, we had to work on weekends. Like everything was horrible. And but let's not name names. It's okay because we're in a better place now.
But when the sweatshop owner was away, the ping pong balls came out to play.
That's right. I like that. I'm going to make a shirt that says that, but I'll get it made at a sweatshop.
Oh, Minute Media. You are the worst.
All right. You did it. I wasn't going there, but okay.
Oh, you know I'll go there. All right. Last game on the playoff docket for the divisional round. Sunday, 6:30 Eastern time, 3:30 if you're out on that left coast over there. But we got Anthony's Dallas Cowboys traveling out to Santa Clara to face the San Francisco 49ers. Niners, 3.5-point favorites in this one, minus 195 on the money line. Dallas plus 175 on the money line. Total 46.5, depending on where you do your shopping. I think that's a very interesting total that can have some bearing on this game here. But Anthony, as the resident Cowboys advisor, how you feeling this week?
I'm actually more confident in the Cowboys this week than I was last week, because last week you had that hurdle, right? It's, can the Cowboys win a playoff game? Can they get out of the first round? The Brady narrative. And not only did they get out of the first round, they blew out of the first round. And now Dallas has confidence, and they have the proverbial monkey off their back. San Francisco fans are obnoxious. They're overconfident. They're not giving Dallas much of a chance.
Says the Dallas fan.
But the point spread sitting at 3.5. This doesn't tell me Vegas thinks it's going to be a blowout. This tells me if this was played at a neutral venue, this is probably closer to 1 point. So these two teams are evenly matched. And I think, I keep going back to these coaching matchups. Just like we're talking about Doug Peterson, Andy Reid. Well, Dan Quinn was the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons when Kyle Shanahan was the offensive coordinator. So they know how to scheme against each other. When Dan Quinn knows how to take you out, remember, he did a pretty good job against Tom Brady for half of a Super Bowl. He's always done a pretty good job against Tom Brady. He has his, and I think he's going to do well against Kyle Shanahan. Last year, when these two teams played in the postseason, it was a 23-17 football game. It wasn't very high scoring. The issue was Dallas couldn't score enough, not so much of Dan Quinn not being able to stop the San Francisco 49ers offense. Another thing to take in consideration, and I've been pounding this one hard home, the 49ers have won a lot of games, 10, 11 in a row. What adversity, right? We talk about adversity. We talk about what Joe Burrow had to overcome last year on the road to the Super Bowl, getting sacked 5 million times a game and everything really going against him. Joe Burrow this year having to overcome no Jamar Chase, offensive line injuries. You go to adversity with Trevor Lawrence overcoming a 27-point deficit. What adversity has Brock Purdy faced? What defenses has he faced? Seattle a couple times, Las Vegas, Arizona a couple times, Washington,
Tampa Bay,
New Orleans. It was a 13-0 football game. This Dallas Cowboys defense is going to be something like Brock Purdy has not seen. He's going to have Micah Parsons in his face. And I think that's going to bring Brock Purdy back down to earth. Because if I'm Dan Quinn, I'm going to say, okay, we'll let Christian McCaffrey go for 200 total yards and 2 touchdowns. We're not going to let Brock Purdy get comfortable. We're going to completely take away the pass. And if they can do that, get to Brock Purdy, we talk about opportunity. Everybody wants to say, 49ers defense, yeah, they're great. Dallas's defense had some injury issues down the stretch. They looked healthy last week. This Cowboys defense, number 1 in takeaways with 33. Frisco, they're number 2 with 28. But this is another situation where you have a rookie quarterback who hasn't really played anybody yet. And I think this defense is going to come after him and force him to make a mistake or maybe 2. So I obviously think Dallas is going to win, not just because I'm a fan, but I think this is the game where Brock Purdy gets brought back down to reality.
Damn it.
By the way, go ahead. Paul, you want to talk about what the NFL wants. What do you think the NFL wants more on championship weekend? Do you think that anybody cares about Eagles 49ers?
Yes.
Jalen Hurts, Brock Purdy, where they care about, hey, Philadelphia, Dallas for the 3rd time, the first time Jalen Hurts and Dak meets this season, the fact that Jalen Hurts never beat Dak, that's primetime football.
Wait, don't you mean the Cowboys Giants? That's not.
Yeah, that's right.
That's not what you meant. God damn it, Anthony. I feel like you literally read right off my note sheet. Like literally everything I was thinking.
This is real. If both of you are taking the Cowboys, don't let the sports book take the vig. Let's just bet with each other. Because I love the Niners.
Well, tell me why.
Tell me why.
Ain't nothing but a
Good. You got that.
heartache.
This is why this show works so well. I don't
I
even
actually have that as a sound drop on my show.
That's amazing. We need some drops. That's the
next season.
That's one of my favorite things about the Michael K show is the drops.
Oh yeah, they do. Drop madness. It's always
yeah.
Good. All right,
that's a bit much, but yeah, give me a couple drops.
Tell me about these 49ers.
The spread should be like 7. Why is it 3.5? The Cowboys, there was a point in the season, about halfway through the season, that we were talking about the Cowboys as a top 5 team. Then something changed. I'm still not sure what it is. Anthony, you could probably tell me. Were there injuries? Like, what happened?
Injuries.
Who were they? And are they back now?
Their entire secondary.
Are they back now?
Outside of Diggs. Well, no, not. See, they're not all back.
Anthony Brown.
They've had enough time without these guys where Dan Quinn knows who he can rely on. The most significant injuries to Dallas, we had the loss of Jordan Lewis in October. Cornerback, number 3 cornerback.
Okay.
They've overcome that. They now have a slot corner who they can rely on. Anthony Brown, their number 2 corner opposite Diggs. They lost him they lost him I think in January. So not too long without him, but you have your 2 starting cornerbacks down. Yeah, that's probably going to make a difference in your defense.
So here's the other thing. I know that Diggs is healthy and like he's a splash play defender. That's why I love Debo this weekend, because Diggs can't tackle. They're going to set Debo up where he's one-on-one, or McCaffrey is one-on-one against Diggs. Diggs is going to go for a pick, not get it, or miss a tackle. And one of those guys is going to break off some 70, 80-yarder.
Did you watch that game on Monday night? Because a guy named Leighton Vander Esch
I think
he was
great.
all over the field.
He is the best white linebacker since Brian Urlacher.
What about Micah Parsons? What about what he is
playing
on one leg?
Not white.
Not right.
No,
you look
not
right
white.
on Monday
Did
night.
You know what I said? I said Leighton
right
Vander Esch is the best linebacker, the best white linebacker since Brian Urlacher.
That's disrespectful of Sean Lee, who preceded.
No, I like Vander Esch better. Do you not?
I guess.
Is there was Zach Thomas wasn't after Urlacher?
No. Yeah, right. They were in the same era.
Okay. No. And I'm not. Micah Parsons is the second coming of LT. I get it. He's amazing.
Little lighter.
But he's great. Like I love that people are now like saying Thibodeau is, in that grouping, which he's not. It's just Micah's better. We know this. Dallas has the ceiling. And if we see it this weekend, it'll be a great game. I just think the coaching, the actual coaching, McCarthy and Shanahan. I get it. Dan Quinn is great. He deserves a head coaching job. But the actual coaching, I think the advantage is Shanahan, and he's going to scheme well enough that the Niners win and cover. I got 27-17 as my final score, which puts me under 46.
So you have Kyle Shanahan lining up at quarterback?
No. What's your
that would be something. That would be something.
Do you think that magically, after however many weeks it's been, Brock Purdy's going to turn into Zach Wilson?
I mean, not magically, but I mean, who did he play with a pass rush?
Forcibly.
Who did he play with a pass rush?
The first time they played, how did that go?
That Bucs defense they didn't have anybody. They were real banged up in December.
Put it on me. Just lay it on me, because they are not the same defense.
The best defense that they played was the New Orleans Saints, and that game was 13-0.
Yeah. I wanted to bring this point up too. Since Purdy started at quarterback, we could even add the Dolphins game in there because he played most of it. But 33, 35, this is all San Fran points. 33, 35, 21, 37, 34, 38, and then 41 last week. They are not putting up anywhere close to that up against Dallas.
Thank you.
So, but no, I like as I said, I felt like Anthony just read my notes verbatim on this game. Like, I just think that this is time for Purdy to kind of come back down to earth. And, Ant and I talked about it on Friday. I love dating back to that day because we had a lot of great points that night, but he just hasn't had that rough situation yet. Right.
After that game, a 49ers fan, Mike Hoff, my old co-host, we were talking in our group chat, and I brought up that word, that adversity word. And I said, what adversity did Brock Purdy face? And he brought up, well, he was down 1 point at halftime to the Seahawks. I said, that's not adversity. That's a football game. So that's a former 49ers fan saying that's the biggest adversity your starting quarterback is facing. I'm sorry. That adversity is coming. His name is Micah Parsons.
The perfect football team. Their weakest link is their quarterback. It's like the Jets, but they have better coaching, so they're great.
You just said it.
That doesn't mean that the guy can't beat the Cowboys. The Cowboys are here's your snippet. Ready? The Cowboys are average at best. They're probably the third best team in the NFC East.
Wow. He went there.
It's coming from a Giants fan, right?
He went there.
It is, but there's also 3 NFC teams left, and they happen to be playing the 49ers, who I think make the Super Bowl.
That is crazy how we do have 3 NFC East teams, right? Like, just
it's gross.
We're 2 years removed from the Redskins winning that division at 6-10. Like, that's amazing.
Listen, we almost had 3 AFC East teams in this year.
Yep. And the Commanders were pretty good. They were close.
The East is no more the least. No more.
Indeed. I will say, though, the East did have the easier schedule this year. That tends to have an effect on how these things go. But no, listen, I'm with Anthony on this one. But I understand the Cowboys just kicked the ever-living shit out of my Buccaneers on Monday night. One aspect that, listen, if it doesn't work out, we can say that, listen, the Niners, they had the extra day, actually extra 2 days to prepare if you want to go that route. And then Dallas had to go out there to the West Coast. Something to look at. But wherever the case is, I think that Dallas is just clicking on all cylinders. To win a game of that magnitude, Monday Night Football, dominating fashion, I think that was a big shot in the arm for the Cowboys.
What magnitude? The Bucs are terrible.
Hey, fuck off. It's the playoffs, pal. All right?
Whoa.
No. You can curse on this show.
I'm speaking of fact. The Bucs were under 500 this year. True or false?
That is a fact. That's an unfortunate
fact. The Bucs were almost 7-10.
And?
Listen, when we get Aaron Rodgers as quarterback next year.
Jameis Winston's coming back, baby.
Jameis. No. Not happening.
Well, yeah, what do you think about them firing Leftwich? He was not the problem.
Definitely not. Bowles, much more of a problem.
Right. That they fired Leftwich, I immediately said, I want him to go to Pittsburgh, where he'd go back there, but it looks like they're keeping Matt Canada. The Jets, go get Leftwich. I mean, come on.
No.
Why not? You don't like Leftwich?
No, not at all.
You think that the only reason he's good is because he had Tom Brady in the perfect situation?
He had not only Tom Brady, but Bruce Arians. I believe if Bruce Arians was still the coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're a double-digit win football team and probably still in the playoffs.
Fair.
Absolutely.
Well, no, because Todd Bowles is a problem.
Yeah, but he would have just handled the defense. No. There were so many problems on offense. Obviously, the offensive line, Ryan Jensen playing his first game of the season in the playoffs, like that just wasn't going to be a recipe. By the way, I just wanted to say real quick, we had all the playoff games last week went over, with the exception of the Dallas-Tampa game by the hook. So
it was because Maher missed 11 extra points.
I know everybody wants to kiss San Francisco's ass, but if you look at their schedule, they didn't beat anybody. They got blown out by the Chiefs, right? You want to know who their other 3 losses were outside of Kansas City? Atlanta, Chicago, and Denver, right? Their wins, Seattle, three times, Los Angeles Rams, the Panthers, the Rams again, the Chargers, we know they're fake, Arizona twice, the Saints, Miami, Tampa, Washington, Vegas. They didn't beat anybody.
Wait. Are you not going to mention that they lost to the Houston Texans?
Who?
The 49ers.
No,
That was in the preseason.
No?
Yeah.
yeah, that was a preseason game.
Oh, you're right. Sorry.
But they still lost to Chicago and Denver and Atlanta.
Opening week was Chicago, yes.
Yeah. In that torrential downpour.
Wow,
Who
so
did
they
the
lost
49ers
to
play?
the worst teams in football.
Yeah, who did they play? Who did they beat? The best team they played, they got blown out by. They played nobody else. Dallas beat Cincinnati. They blew out Minnesota, and they beat Philly. I know Philly had a backup, but that roster is still loaded.
So they beat 3 playoff teams. Does the Bucks game not count?
For who? The 49ers?
Yeah.
It counts as much as the Cowboys win over the 49ers counts. Both blowouts.
Does the Chargers game count?
I guess, but what are the Chargers really?
The Dolphins game doesn't count?
You gotta, and
they barely beat the Chargers. They barely beat the Chargers.
The second that Dak got interviewed too, right after the game against the Bucks, he, they were asking, how do you feel about your chances? And he said it immediately, like, yeah, they knocked us out last year. So this is also a little bit of inspiration right here for Dallas trying to, get something back for them.
Dak said the same thing after week 1 against Tampa. We're going to get him in the playoffs, and they did.
Well, fuck him for that. I'm not going to co-sign that.
And by the way, here's an underrated stat. Mike McCarthy, 2010, 2011, 2010, whatever season that was, Super Bowl, they had a win out. They got to play all the games on the road to win the Super Bowl. They have to do the same thing. So this is nothing new for Mike McCarthy either, having to go through the road.
All right, Anthony, as a Cowboys fan, if McCarthy loses this game, does he get fired and they either hire Sean Payton or elevate Dan Quinn?
Probably not. And I don't know if listen. There's not a big. I get killed for this all the time. There's not a big difference between Sean Payton and Mike McCarthy. They both have one Super Bowl. They both won the Super Bowl with a Hall of Fame quarterback, and they both have a similar win percentage in the NFL. There's not a big difference between those two.
It's an interesting debate. It's an interesting one.
Crazy. Like
I don't know which side I fall on, but
you're just pulling numbers. But if you ask anyone on earth,
I know that. I know that. I know. I get killed for this all the time. But do numbers not matter?
Numbers never lie, baby. Right?
It's a very interesting debate.
You know who else? I don't even know where he is now. And where's John Fox? I thought he was a good coach.
Oh, he's probably at his local Elks club, slugging them back.
But
probably playing a game
of
pool.
He went to the Broncos, got put in a bad situation, and never got another chance.
I mean, that's essentially what did happen.
Cowher doesn't want a job. I'm just thinking of all the guys in the booths.
Well, Anthony's boy, Kellen Moore, getting a couple looks. I know him, D'Amico Ryan.
They've been saying forever, and it's like they've been saying forever they're going to elevate him. Dan Quinn is a better head coach than Kellen Moore will ever be.
You even got Bieniemy there in Kansas City, but I feel like he's just waiting out Reed's retirement, and then he'll just naturally take over.
Possibly, probably, or everyone also brings up the race card, which is very, very possible.
No, I don't think so. I think we're well past that.
He hasn't been offered a job.
But I think, I think if anything, maybe there's something to it in the interviews, but I would say that nowadays you'd probably be more willing to take that chance just because it's such a hot button issue. But I also feel like Reed, he'll probably stop drawing mustaches on his players' faces on the plane rides and everything. He'll be done soon,
If the Chiefs win the Super Bowl this year, I think he retires.
I could very well see that. Very well see that. Yeah.
Which is cool.
Even if they go to the Super Bowl,
No, he needs to win. If he loses, he'll come back. If he wins, there's a chance
he needs one more. He needs one more.
Because he's in his 70s too, right? I know Pete Carroll's the oldest coach. I think Andy's number 2.
Oh, Belichick. What are you?
Oh, I forgot about Bill. It's amazing. I just forgot about the GOAT. My bad.
How do you forget about Bill?
Because they suck now.
No, they don't.
The Patriots don't
They're
suck.
a fringe playoff team.
Yeah.
they're good. They just,
They're not good.
Mac is getting used to
When you're
They're
the
gonna-
third best team in your division, you're not good.
Listen, the top two are pretty damn good.
No, because I thought you guys were going to then bring up that the Giants, what place were we?
Third.
Hmm.
Third. All right, let's put up our final scores for this one and get the hell out of here for the night. Ant, start with you.
Dallas 75.
Nice. That's it.
I'll go Dallas. I'll go 24-21 or like 23-20, right in that range. Dallas.
I love how we're hitting a lot of unders on these.
I think it's going to come down to
last week.
my kicker's leg, and he's going to redeem himself.
Probably will. Pauly, what do you got here?
Anthony, that you say that, this is real. If Brett Maher kicks a game-winning field goal, I will buy you a Brett Maher jersey.
Ooh.
I didn't even know that exists.
It would have to be a special order. It's expensive.
NFLshop.com.
Yeah. If he kicks, this is very specific. If he kicks a game-winning field goal, I will happily buy you a Brett Maher jersey. But I got the Niners 27-17.
And if and when he does kick that game-winning field goal, we'll do a presentation at Anthony's house with his wife's friends and everything. So
Hell yeah.
it'll be fun.
I'll be in a wheelchair.
You know what's funny? Usually the kids in the wheelchairs are getting presented with jerseys, but Paul in the wheelchair presenting the jersey.
I'll be the presenter.
All right, to break the tie, I'm going to go Dallas 20-17.
Wow. Both of you.
20-17 in this one for Dallas. I think that Maher could very well play a part. I mean, how poetic would it be after that debacle on Monday this week? So that's the way that I'm going. So yeah, so I think we went under collectively on every single game this week. The way that I would have it, would be
no. I think we were over on Bills Bengals.
All right. You're right. You're absolutely right. Short-term memory, not so good nowadays. Thanks. Call me a cab.
No, it's because you're almost 40.
Yeah, pretty much. But damn it, I missed. Oh, so if both of my predictions are correct and both teams win on the NFC side of things, that would be a Giants Cowboys NFC championship.
Dude, if that happens,
that would be pretty funny.
Anthony, if Giants Cowboys happens, I will drive to your house and watch the game.
We need to make this happen.
No, for real. Like it would just be fun and that's the weekend. That's the weekend before my surgery. So like, wait,
why don't you guys both meet in the middle in Bayonne? And we can watch you here where there's plenty. Yo, there are plenty. Well, we go to Jersey City too.
Wait, time out. Those games are Sunday?
Yeah.
Yes, Championship Sunday.
And I've heard that
No, because then it's tricky because I have an important doctor's appointment on that Monday.
We'll get you a helicopter. That's fine.
If you guys want to get there's a Blade. Get me a Blade helicopter.
I know a couple pilots. We can make this happen. They might not be that good, but that the risk is on you.
They might not be that good.
It's just Long Island to Bayonne. What could go wrong, right?
Honestly, that's like a 12-minute ride.
Guys, this was a fantastic show tonight. Can't wait to show it to the masses if they weren't watching live tonight. But if you guys want to follow us on Twitter, you can do so with me at 14a.walsh, Pauly over there at Game Day Facts, and Anthony at The Real NFL Guru. For me, Paul, Anthony, the rest of the internet, we're gone. Peace.